Welcome everybody to this month's nature diary for August, where we're going to be painting dolphins, and these are the ones we're going to be painting today. So this is the Bottlenose Dolphin, and this is the one that gets the biggest in Malta. We usually see these swimming around the fish farms because they know that there's food outside the fish farms, so that's what they go for. And you may have seen them, sometimes you can see them from land even. They can grow pretty big, up to 4 meters in size. They're quite stocky in shape. The dorsal fin is the fin at the top of their body, and it's quite large. And they have a moderate length beak, and they have very acrobatic behavior. And they go around in small pods. And this is the Common Dolphin. This is, I think it's my favorite that I've seen this year, because they are very playful as well. They stay with you for a long amount of time, or they seem to stay with us for a long amount of time on the boat. They have this, they call it a figure-of-8 pattern on their body. So these are things we're going to take note of when we're painting them. And so it has kind of a light brownish at the front on the side, and then light grey at the back. They grow up to 2.5 meters on average, and they have quite a slender shape. Their dorsal fin is, I think it's a bit more sickle shaped, so more curved, and they're quite social animals. And this is the striped dolphin, and they are very cute, these striped dolphins. They have a very particular pattern it's not just one stripe, it's lots of different stripes on their side, which we're going to try and paint as well. And there was one day that we went out on the boat and we saw around 100 of them, and it's over the whole day. And at one point they were just all surrounding the boat. Very, very amazing experience. And this is just a picture of the striped dolphin with a baby, and the striped dolphin is so small, and then the babies are even smaller. And when they have their calves, dolphins can stay pregnant for between 1 to 3 years, which is a long time to be in that gestation period, and they jump in sync together with the mum whilst they learn how to survive in the oceans and the seas. So yeah, that's just a few points here. I'm sure a lot of you know about these things, but we can contribute to looking after these amazing creatures by putting litter in bins and picking up litter when you can. I'm not saying you should be constantly picking up litter, but just when you can. If you think something's going to be dangerous to an animal, like it's circular or could be swallowed or something, it would be great to pick it up. If we can all try to use less plastic, not wasting water, and only buying tuna that's caught using methods that are dolphin friendly. So often on the tins it says dolphin friendly tuna. So we can all do our bit. Okay, so let's get painting. I'm going to, in the chat, I am going to find it. Yeah, share the pictures that I used to paint the dolphins, just in case. You don't have to use them, but just in case you want to. I think, except, okay. The pictures kept disappearing earlier, which was a bit alarming. And yeah, there you go. So those are all the pictures in case you want to use them. So let me switch screens to, where am I? Okay. Okay, so there we go. You should all see my previous picture, although I think I made them a bit too dark, so I'm going to try and go a bit lighter this time. And right, we'll start drawing.
Tamsin, just one question. The photos, I don't seem to be able to download them. I don't know if others have the same problem, but for me it says that the path is not correct.
I don't know if they're trying to block them because there might have, I didn't check to see whether it was possible to use these. What I'll do is
You can share the links where you found them if you still have that, or
I've lost the links.
Okay,
I haven't been that organized, sorry, but I'll send. I've just sent you the presentation that I did.
Okay.
So yeah, and it's in PDF, so you should be able to zoom in. Because I used the same photos for the particular dolphins, but I did it in reverse on the presentation for some reason. So we're going to start with the striped dolphin. So if you go to the bottom, yeah, I don't know what's going on with those images. I had a bit of trouble with them just now. Have you got the presentation? Is it downloading?
No, even that is not working for me. So maybe there's actually an issue on my side. Would you mind just copying it again? So I try to save it somewhere else. Sorry.
Copying it?
Like now to put it again, like the PDF, because
yeah, I don't know.
So I try another path. So I put it in the downloads. I don't know. Otherwise, I'll just.
I don't know if it's gonna do it. If
Yeah, no, it works again. Okay, so let me see.
Okay, all right, brilliant.
I can download it somewhere else. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, so as I said, we're going to attempt to draw 3 dolphins. I think most of you are quicker than me, so we should be fine. So I'm going to just make a mark where I want each dolphin to go, so that I just have an idea. And I try to make them relative to their size. So yeah, just a line there, and maybe the top comes there, and the bottom of the fins come there, maybe a bit further up. And then the next one can be here and finish. I mean, the striped and the common ones aren't that much different in size, which is strange because when I saw them, the striped ones looked much smaller. And then the bottlenose can come at the top here with its beak ending here, and the dorsal fin at the top, and the tail about here. So this one can be the biggest one. I'm just going to put my fringe in a clip because it's driving me crazy as usual. Okay, so like we always do, I think the best way to start off with is drawing the rough shape in the like of the body. So, and then we'll add details. So you kind of want that kind of sausage shape. I feel a bit bad calling a dolphin a sausage. They're such graceful creatures. And if any of you are interested in going on these trips, let me know and I can send you the details, because they are great experiences. So I'm just drawing them very roughly, as you can see. And then the fins will come down here. I'm also very sketchy when I draw. I don't know how sketchy everybody else is. So, and I'm going to draw the next one. I thought as well that we could manage to draw 3, because they're all, painting them, they're all quite the same color, kind of. So I think we can paint them kind of all together. Fins up here. I think they should just about fit. That was it's quite difficult to get them on this size of paper. Looking at it on the screen, my bottom one looks a bit like a turtle. Okay. We can sort that out. So just roughly, I need to make sure I get the fin in here. So it's quite good to do the sketch first, because now I've changed it a bit to make sure the fin's in there. And then they just look as if they're jumping over each other, which they can, different species can be seen together. But usually they're in pods of their own species. I think that works. Okay, so let's start adding the detail. I'm going to refer to the photo a bit. I mean, I think the striped ones can be curved up a bit. So it's that top is a curved line. And we'll add the dorsal fin, which is about the middle of the body. Make it a little bit smaller to kind of reflect the smaller size of this dolphin. And then the front of the head. Kind of, they kind of have a sort of bump at the front. Try to draw that in. But only slightly before it curves. So from the body, it kind of goes in a little bit and then goes out again. And then the beak, which is short and stubby, is how it's described for a striped dolphin. Right, hopefully everyone's with me so far, but if not, let me know. Yeah, I'm going to move the bottom. Are they flippers? The ones that I didn't look that up to check what they're. I think they're flippers. And so that's about here, and that's quite small as well. And let's just draw, well, I'm going to draw the eye in just so I know. It kind of makes a bit more sense, doesn't it, when you draw the eye in? Try and get this beak right. Yeah. Okay, and then they have this belly. They're just so cute, these ones. And the tail, I mean, I drew it a bit differently on my. I'm just going to rub out the rough lines so you can see a bit better. I think the dorsal fin is a bit too big. I'm going to, because they do twist around a bit when they jump up. So I've drawn the whole tail in there, even though it's not showing up on the photo. You can, their photos are good to use for reference, but really we shouldn't copy them because of copyright issues. So if you use a bit of artistic license, it's quite good if you change things, because then you're not copying the photo. And I'm going to draw, just to help us when we're painting, I'm going to draw the pattern that the striped dolphin has. And this is the one that has the most complicated pattern. Although it's complicated, but it's pretty. So it comes up, it kind of thins out the top, and then there's like this kind of superhero mark. This stripe that comes down in a pointed way. But then also we need to draw the stripe that goes. Okay, I'm just going to move the eye a little bit, because I've just realized that there's a line that comes out from here just slightly and then goes on from the eye, and the eye needs to come down a bit. So you could just draw one line here and then we'll paint it a bit thicker. I think it ends there just before the tail. It's a bit difficult to see on the photo because of the water. And you can draw the water in if you want to. And then there's another line, another stripe that goes down here. And another stripe that goes down there. So hopefully that's enough reference to go on when we're painting. Okay, I think I'm quite happy with that one. Maybe I might make the tail less curved, a bit straighter at the bottom. And I might make it look a bit more like it's jumping. Yeah, okay. So next is the common dolphins. So, right. So yeah, this one's called the common dolphin. Somebody said to me that it's not so common, which is, you know, I suppose they called it common dolphin because it used to be very common. But when I read about it, because you can check how common species are by looking them up on it's called the IUCN Red List. Sorry, Stefan, you got locked out. Okay, hopefully you can catch up. And you can check what the species status is. And I read that all of these dolphins, their status is least concern, which means they're not so worried about them. But then again, they don't know what the population of them is, which is slightly concerning that we don't know. So if any of you want to study dolphins, that would be an amazing thing to do, and you know, loads of fun anyway, but it would contribute a lot to the natural world. Well, if you study any animal, I think it would contribute a lot to the natural world. And if you do want advice about projects about animals, just let me know and I'll try and help you as much as I can. Okay, so this dolphin, you know, when we were talking about the indentation, that's actually where the blowhole is. So you can just about see this one on the common dolphin, just slightly. This one's twisting a little bit because that's what the common dolphin does this a lot. We noticed it when we were on the boat that they twist themselves whilst they're jumping to look at us. They're very curious. And they always look so happy, that smile. There. Yeah, this one has quite a long beak. I don't know if I've made that too long. I think it's okay. And then we need to come out at the bottom. Although I'm just going to continue that line because so I can reference it. Because that's the side, and then the bottom bit is the belly. And I think that tail needs to come out a bit longer. And yeah, this tail, it's quite hard to find a good photo to draw. And I did an art course recently, and she said you shouldn't copy photos exactly anyway. And a good tip she gave was to watch videos of that particular animal that you want to draw. Don't know, I think that's okay. They're touching me along. So yeah, if you watch lots of different videos, like if you have the chance, I'm gonna bring it up a bit. If you have the chance to go outside and draw something, that's the best thing to do if you're into art. But if you can't, like at the moment, admittedly, it's a bit hot. You can watch videos of the animal and then paint how you felt when you were watching the videos. Just kind of a nicer way to do it. Trying to get this tail right now. Let's come out a bit more. Or actually, what I'm going to do is do it the way that all the other ones have their tails. Okay, so I'll just draw the belly in a bit. And the fins should come out about here. And you can see the other one here because it's twisted. It's twisted, you can see the bottom of its body a bit more than the other ones. It's kind of showing the character of the common dolphin. Okay, so we can start sketching the bottlenose one, which is very smiley in that photo. I think I'm going to, again, use artistic license a little bit and maybe take a little bit of this one and a little bit of the other one, although this one is a very nice pose. And the beak. It's funny that they're called beaks, like bird beaks. so smiley. Apparently, dolphins can help humans. So they have helped divers that have been in trouble, and they've pushed them to the surface if they've been struggling. So it's actually saved their lives. And I also read or I watched a video actually, that they help fishermen sometimes to help them catch fish because they swim in their pods. They work as a team to.
Tamsin, please.
Yes.
I cannot see what you draw.
Sorry, yeah, I've just noticed because I just looked. Sorry, it's a bit hard to get it onto the phone because I can't change my phone from portrait to landscape. Yeah, so that's better, isn't it?
Thank you. Yes, it is better. Thank you, Tamsin.
That's okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, they work together in pods to catch fish. So a lot of teamwork goes on. And sometimes they help fishermen by doing the same thing. Quite amazing. I'm not sure I like the dorsal fin should come up a bit higher, which is a bit difficult because to get it into the page. Okay, I think that works a bit better. And I love the tail on this one. On this photo. It possibly makes a bit more sense than the other tails, but I'm not sure how the tails of the other dolphins are shaped, if they do have that indentation in the middle. They possibly do. I think, well, I know that bottlenose dolphins, this one we're drawing at the moment, are studied a lot more than the other ones. And unfortunately, they do keep them in captivity to study them. I mean, it's difficult about animals in captivity, keeping them in tanks and cages. Sometimes they're injured and sometimes they can't be released back into the wild. So nature trusts, they do a lot of rescue, wildlife rescue, including dolphins sometimes, but I don't think they've had lots of calls about injured dolphins, luckily, but they can get them. But they rehabilitate a lot of turtles, and sometimes they can't be released because they're too injured. Most of them are released, but sometimes they can't. But they should be in their natural habitat. So it's very important that we look after our seas and rivers and oceans. But I guess here we're mainly talking about our seas, since we live on an island and it's an enclosed sea, the Mediterranean. I think Oh, I can draw another fin or flipper. I should have looked up what how you refer to the bottom ones. What feeling they're flippers?
And to help you out a little bit, they're called pectoral fins.
Oh, okay, so fins. Okay, and pectoral fins.
Pectoral fins, yeah. So the dorsal fin on the top and the pectoral fins on the side.
Okay, thank you. Yes, we now know. There's so much to find out about, and that seems like it should have been quite obvious for me to look up actually. But I get distracted by learning all sorts of other different things about when I'm looking up things up about animals, and for the nature diary to give you all a little bit more information. And you can't learn everything, or you miss things. But that's fine. I'm just gonna, I think the bottlenose one is a bit long, but I guess that's okay if they're doing acrobatic jumps. Yeah, let's go with it. So we can start painting now. Hopefully everyone's done their drawing. I am going to use a kind of medium-sized brush. So I'm using watercolors. So I've got my water here, my brush. I have a piece of rough paper, and I'm going to start with the bottlenose dolphin, the one at the top, so that then we can paint down and hopefully not smudge anything. And this is the color I'm going to be using is Payne's Grey. I'm going to be using quite a lot of this because it kind of, it can look quite dark, but it can also go quite light, and it can have bits of blue in it. But if you don't have that, if you have a light grey, because when you look at the photo of the dolphin, it's basically light grey or a light blue. Well, they're quite silvery. So I'm going to test the paint on the rough paper. So that's kind of the color. Yeah, that's quite the color you want. I don't know whether to introduce blue in it or not, because we can make it a bit more silvery by a little bit of light blue. And I'm going to try and not be so controlling with the paint as well. So I'm going to, let's start from the tail, and I'm painting water here because with watercolor, and it could work with poster paint, with watercolor it's quite nice to let the paint do its own thing instead of just coloring it all in. And with poster paint, if you make it watery, you should get a kind of similar effect. So I'm just painting . Okay, and I have to work quite quickly because in this weather, it dries so quickly. So then when you can see it, okay. When you put the paint on, because it's, because you've put that water down, it spreads like that. Quite good fun to watch it. And I'm starting at the top because those are the darkest areas. And we can leave some, see it's already drying. I'm going to leave some white streaks to make it look like it's reflecting. Oops. I don't know whether to add any more to that or whether I quite like it. I might do a little bit of, well, we need to paint the pectoral fins. And then this can be, and then with watercolor, it's best to work in layers, which is it's a bit hard sometimes. You have to learn to be a little bit patient, which I found quite hard at first, but I think I'm getting there. I think it's quite good for us as well to slow down a little bit. So then I'm not going to paint the eye in quite yet, because I'll let that dry first. I think we have a bit too much paint in the beak, which is, you get things like cauliflowers when you have too much water. And sometimes they're quite nice because they're quite fun to have in the painting, but I don't want them to be too big. So you just lift those up with a piece of dry cloth, painting cloth. Or a rough piece of material, basically. A watercolor is quite nice. I don't think I'm going to add blue. Well, it already has blue in there, because a lot of the colors separate. Oops. Okay, I think I'm quite happy with that one. Should probably start getting a move on as well. If you do make a mistake, you just add water and then dab it. So let's go to the next dolphin, which is the common one. And I didn't paint in, I think we should be all right. I didn't paint in the pattern. So again, I'm going to use Payne's Grey again. And paint water in. We did the one above, the bottlenose. And then mark out, they call it an hourglass. A figure of 8. I think it's hourglass on the striped dolphin. And because there's kind of the bottom side of the 8 on the tail, which is a light grey. And then the top part is kind of sand colour. Okay, so I'm going to possibly go a little bit up. And you have to remember that watercolor also always dries lighter. So if you do want strong colors, you need to put a lot of color into the water. And kind of because the line on this one is a bit more stark, I have been a bit more painty. There. Then we'll be able to paint the blend this a little bit. Or we can paint the mouth and the eyes in later. Make this not such a stark line. And I'm just painting the shadow in at the bottom. And oops. And the fin is kind of become the same color. But I might go over that again when it's a bit drier. Or make the underneath a bit lighter. Which you can do, you can pick up paint carefully. If you you dry your brush and then dab it on your cloth. So to get that grey colour, I think first of all I'm going to paint the oh, okay, yeah, you can still see that. I'm going to paint the tail a bit dark-ish. Just wondering how to get that very light grey colour. Yeah, so if I'm going to paint the panes grey. And this is going to blend now because that bit's still wet. And then before it dries, quickly paint. It's cerulean blue, so light blue. I think that makes it look a bit lighter. Going to just the tail a little bit. And then might make the we need to see if you look at the bottlenose, it dries so much lighter in color. We need that kind of sandy kind of color. So I'm going to use a tiny bit of yellow ochre, but you really need so little, and it should be quite watery because it's really not that brown, it's just slightly brown. And then when you start from there. Okay. Just thinking I might make that bump a little bit and blend it in a bit. I might put a tiny bit of a dot there to indicate the blowhole. Okay, so we can start on the Sprite one. So I'm sticking with the same color again, that Payne's grey or any grey that you have that works for you. And again, I'm going to paint it with water. Just in the parts where it's the darkest. So we drew that pattern in to help us. And then pick up the paint. Okay, it's It's 4 o'clock now, so I realise we've gone over a little bit, and I did think we would a bit. So if you do need to go, that's fine, don't worry about it. It'd be great to see your pictures. If you want to share them with us in the Rascal Rangers group, or you can get your whoever's booked the session for you to send them to us send them to me by email. It'd be lovely to see them. Okay, it's stopped spreading now. I painted the actual line. And this needs to come down in that curved shape. I like that part, but it doesn't. It's a little bit darker. So I love this color. It doesn't sound like it's going to be that exciting, Payne's Grey, but when it separates, and let's see if I can stick to this medium-sized brush now to paint the lines in. Oh, I don't know if you can hear that. There's somebody telling some dogs off. I hope you can't hear it. They're not our dogs. Okay, there's one line, and then this one is really thin. Probably should have changed to a smaller brush. And I just need to paint this thin end. Okay. I think I'm quite happy with that. I'm just going to paint this fin on the Common Dolphin a bit darker. And we're almost there. I'm just going to take a smaller brush and paint the eyes in. Look how small. So to paint the eyes in, you can make your paint quite thick. I'm just using the same color again, the Payne's Grey. So yeah, try and be careful not to smudge your works of art. And I'm just painting the eye quite dark. Although I'm thinking now I might want to add a white. Should have left it, because even though it doesn't show in the photo, it should reflect really. And then just a suggestion of that lovely smile. You may want to kind of sketching with the paintbrush. And then there's the other this dolphin. The eye seems a bit rounder. I think I'm going to grab some white paint. And then oops. Right. Smudge that bit. I don't know if it's safe. It might be safe to paint the eye on the striped dolphin. Guess it'll just blend with the rest. Yeah. I've got a little bit of, I think white paint is what it needs. That's the way to put it. You shouldn't put it in the middle, definitely. Maybe, yeah, to the side there. And I kind of dabbed it on, and it's a very tiny brush, so it's really not that much. Maybe the bottom nose, just to, because it makes the eye look a bit round. And I don't think it's safe to add it for the striped dolphin yet. Just gonna smudge. And I'm going to write with pencil. I might add it with pen later, just so we know what all the species are. So that's the bottlenose dolphin. And this is Common Dolphin. And that's Striped Dolphin. Okay. 8 minutes over, not too bad. So I hope you enjoyed that. And that you get to see some of them in the future. I'm just going to stop the recording, and then maybe we can have a look at each other's paintings.